We know not only was the Democratic Party's strategy for states like Michigan and Wisconsin stolen, but also that these Russian hackers got inside essentially the voting machines or the voting systems, the tabulators. And again, Mark Sumner, writing for the Daily Kos, he's coming up. He's batting 100. He's batting 1,000 today. This 29-page indictment of this woman who was a Russian agent who was arrested over the weekend, and the news came out yesterday. The woman who was basically helping the NRA funnel Russian billionaire money into the Republican Party and help Donald Trump. Page 25 of this indictment says, and I quote, I'm reading from the Department of Justice indictment. This is not part of the Mueller investigation, of this Russian spy who was living in the United States and working at the highest levels with the Republican Party, with the National Prayer Breakfast, with Ralph Reed, with the NRA, all these guys, okay? The object of the conspiracy was to hack into protected computers of persons and entities charged with the administration of the 2016 elections, U.S. elections, in order to access those computers. Mark goes on to write, the indictments make it clear that Russia was attempting to hack the U.S. into, quote, or attempting to hack into, quote, now this is, again, from the indictment. I'm reading from the indictment, quoting from the indictment. U.S. state boards of elections, secretaries of state, and other election-related entities. Mark Sumner writes, these are not just the people who control the voter rolls, making it possible that key voters might be scrubbed from crucial districts. For example, if the, whether it was the Republicans doing it or whether it was the Russians doing it, or some, 400-pound guy, to quote Trump, but I'm more inclined to believe the second of those three options, or the first. If they had the names of 500,000 Democratic voters, they would presumably be Democratic activists, the people that they knew were going to vote Democratic. And keep in mind, Trump won Wisconsin by what, 20,000, something like that votes. He won Michigan by, as I recall, 11 to 14,000 votes. I mean, it was fewer than 80,000 votes in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and I think Ohio in total that gave him his victory, right? Fewer than 80,000. And one of the things that was stolen was 500,000 names of Democrats. If you simply purged those people from the voting rolls so that when they showed up, they cast provisional ballots, not even realizing that they were giving placebo ballots and their votes wouldn't be counted, you just knocked 500,000 Democratic voters off the rolls. Could that have been done in collaboration with Scott Walker? We have pictures of Scott Walker with this woman who's the Russian spy. Was Rick Snyder involved in Michigan? As Mark Sumner writes, the indictments make it clear that Russia was attempting to hack into, quote, U.S. state boards of elections, Secretary of State, and other election-related entities. These are not just the people who control the voter rolls, making it possible that key voters might be scrubbed from crucial districts. These are also the entities that tabulate the official vote. The indictment makes it clear that the Russians were successful in stealing information on at least 500,000 voters and that they successfully hacked into a vendor who sells systems, quote, used to verify voter registration, end quote. So they hacked into, because we've privatized our elections, not only do we have private for-profit corporations telling us how we voted, but we have private for-profit corporations also maintaining our voter rolls in many states. And what I would love to know is where, which states were these 500,000 people living in? And I have a feeling this is going to come out in the Mueller investigation, although, again, this is not from the Mueller investigation. Mark Sumner, back to Mark Sumner, he says, what's now public is that Russians were sharing stolen information with Republicans, both inside and outside the Trump campaign, through multiple routes. Florida, back in August of 2016, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz requested and received information from the Russians. In both August and September, the Russians contacted Roger Stone directly about the voter turnout model that the Democrats presumably were using. In October, the Russians, quote, targeted state and county offices responsible for administering the 2016 elections with a specific mention of Florida among the targets. In Florida, they sent out malware to at least 100 officials responsible for administering election results in Florida.